part of the mind of Christ is identifying the lie.
I had to make some shake, I had to bust some move, yeah. That was like way too wet, but shawty, you know I'm cool, yeah.
War in the city, it's a war outside. We spread lies, it's a war in the mind. Let your kingdom come, let it fall right now.
Alright, so I got some notes on the computer, so I'm gonna be looking back and forth every once in a while. Just ignore it, but let's get into it. It's the journey and not the destination. I know I talked about this a little bit in an earlier video where I said, like, don't get caught up on the end goal and the results and stuff. And this is just another reminder. Things won't always go the way you plan them to go. So you gotta be able to adapt and adjust to different challenges and obstacles that you may come across. You gotta also be able to learn to prioritize the journey and not the end goal, because the journey is where you're gonna develop as a person, you're gonna grow. And like, that's the most important part, because you're not gonna be able to maintain or sustain your end goal if you don't develop in the right ways and build a strong foundation. When you focus on the future or even the past, then you're just wasting time on the present. There's this quote, I don't know exactly how it goes, it's like, God's present is the present, or the present is a present from God. And that's so true, because that's the only time, the present is the only time where you have somewhat control over what's going on. You can't control the past, you can't do anything about the past. It's done. Once it's done, it's done. In the future, if you're thinking about something that's happening in 10 months from now, there's a 10-month period between now and then that you have no idea what's going to happen. So you have no control over that. So you can't stress over that. You can only control the current moment you're in and what you're able to do then. So you have to capitalize on what you're able to do. You also have to remember that good things take time. In the Bible, David only became king after being patient for a very long time and going through different trials and tribulations and setbacks, and God building the characteristics he needed to be a king. If you're able to push through and remain faithful to God and just keep going regardless of the obstacles you face, not only will you see the fruits of your labor, but you will be able to maintain and sustain them, as well as thrive and progress past those goals. And you may not understand now why it's so important to have a strong foundation, but if you have a weak foundation and you get to where you want to be, your overnight success, or your song blows up, your first song blows up and gets 1 million streams in one night, you're not going to be able to back it up. The next song you drop is going to be trash, and 3/4 of those listeners are going to stop listening to you. Yeah, like, you got to figure out how to build a strong enough foundation to sustain what you're building. What's up, boy? What's up? What's up? Down, go. It's important to be patient during the process, because during that time period where you're building something and you're just like refining your skills or whatever you're working towards, you're able to learn how to pay attention to details. And by paying attention to details and taking your time perfecting something, like I said earlier, you're able to build a strong foundation and you're able to see more long-term success compared to someone who rushed through the development stages and just building themselves. I literally just watched this YouTube video last night after I got off the phone with Ravi. Crazy stories. This whole segment of the video was inspired by my conversation with Ravi, who I haven't even talked to in 7 years. I haven't talked to him on the phone in 7 years. So shout out to Ravi. But I watched this YouTube video last night after I talked to him, and this dude literally said something that stuck with me. He said, "Give time. You gotta remember that everything happens on God's timing, not your timing." Let me repeat that. Everything happens on God's timing and not your timing. So don't stress about how little time you think you have to accomplish something, because you have no control over time anyways. Just focus on God, live in the moment, and put in the work, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. Just do what you're capable of doing right now.